So what do you think happens when a community has lost faith with their justice system, when they have lost faith with the police that is supposed to be guarding them? This community, they have been pilfered so much. The thieves, armed robbery, corruption, bribery, everything was happening to this community, and they had lost faith with the police to fight these crimes. Also, the traders in the market, where their wares were being stolen in broad daylight. In the night, the invaders, robbers will invade their houses and rob them without any consequence. If you call the police and the police comes around, they pick those robbers, and the next day, the next 2 days, you start seeing them in the streets again. So they believe that if they call the police, that the robbers would bribe the police and they will be released. So this was what was happening in this community. So today we are going to talk about the story of the Bakassi boys. And the Bakassi boys, if you have watched Bakassi Isakaba movie, if you have watched Bakassi Boys movie, you will know what I'm talking about. This particular thing, you will think that it's just a horror movie or it's just a fairy tale, but it's not a fairy tale. It happened in southeastern Nigeria. So let's just go back to how it began. So today, if you are seeing my face for the first time, welcome back to my channel. My name is Linda Kamara and your Crime Stories with Linda. Please don't hesitate to click the subscribe button and don't forget to share, like, and comment. So welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about the case of the Bakassi boys. So this case happened in the southeastern Nigeria. Bakassi boys was formed. The group was formed in 1998 in Aba, Abia State, southeastern Nigeria. So the traders in this particular city, they have faced a lot. The robbery was almost a daily thing, or almost a daily occurrence. They will leave their wares in the market, and by the time they come back tomorrow, things will be stolen. In fact, it's as if they were working for the robbers to come and steal their wares, steal their money. They have been robbed blind in daylight, not even in the night. It's as if the thieves have now become so much emboldened that they can go out and rob them in daylight and nothing will happen. If they call the police, the robbers, highest the robbers will be released the next day or in the next few weeks. So they were facing this on a daily basis. So they had to come together as a community in that market and formed a group that they called the Bakassi boys. At first, the Bakassi boys were supposed to just help them guard the market so that the thieves will no longer steal their wares. It was just a few traders among them that formed that Bakassi boys. So that was how they started guarding the market, and the thieves in that particular area started reducing. And what was the method that they were using to guard this market? If they catch any thief, they will do jungle justice. They are both the judge, the jury, and the executioner. No questions was asked. They were just killing people like that. If they catch thief, they would just kill the person. And from there, they grew. They started guarding the whole of Aba. They became so much revered. They became so much feared, and they were celebrated because people that have faced this type of things for a long while, so they were celebrated. And in this particular time, the Nigerian government was transitioning from the military rule to the democracy rule. So the police then, as at that time, were underfunded. There was a lot of bribery, corruption, and a bunch of other stuff. So during those times, it was very hard for them to, like, if they catch a thief, for them to like take the thief through the justice, get to the court and sentence them to jail. So most thieves then, they were not jailed, so they continued stealing, they continue doing armed robbery, highway robbery, different. In fact, it was just so bad as at that time. From the late 90s, things were so bad in the southeast. There was so much robbery and armed robbery, kidnapping, and corruption in southeast as at that time. So this was what happened. So those Bakassi boys, they started guarding the market. They started guarding Aba. Their means of trying to do interrogation and all of that was, they had like machetes, silver machetes. They said if they place the machete on you and it turns red, that means you must have killed before, or that means you are an armed robber or something like that. That means you have committed a crime, and then you will have to face the consequence. The person will have to be caught, then burnt. In fact, they brutally killed these people that they branded thieves. And that was what was happening in Aba. And people were rejoicing because it was as if the robbery and the menace that was happening in that society started reducing. So people were now moving about without being afraid. People could go to their business and sell and go back home with their money. No more thieves, no more robbery. And they were happy. They were celebrating Bakassi boys. They could be passing in the market and people would be giving them gifts and all of that. That was what was happening in Aba. And due to the desperation of the traders, these Bakassi boys were born out of desperation of the traders because of the nightmare that they were facing. So for them to combat it, they could help combat it in Abia State, where the people could now go move about and do their things without fear of being robbed. Something made them very different because they claim they have supernatural powers to detect crimes. They claim that they could not be caught. So they had this slogan, Odeshi, Odeshi. They will be walking around and using machetes to hit themselves. They will shoot themselves and claim and say Odeshi because they believed that they had these charms, they had this juju that could make them not to bear any wound from the knife, from the gun, that nothing could kill them. Not even bullets could kill them. So they will shoot themselves and shout Odeshi. Odeshi means it doesn't leak. It means it doesn't leak in Igbo language. So that blood does not leak from their body, that they don't get wounded, they cannot be caught, they cannot be killed. So that was what made a lot of people so afraid of them. So they come out, they will chant, they will sing war chants, they will dance Odeshi and sing Odeshi in the market square. So a lot of people were so afraid of them. People were sharing them on, but people were so afraid of them because of all the things that they were doing, and the machete that they claim turns red whenever they place it on a criminal's body. And that knife was the reason why they were killing people and saying that the knife, once the knife shines red, the person is dead. So that was what they were doing. The boys did not arrest suspects. They did not arrest. If they arrest you, there's no chance for long talk. They don't talk so long. Everything about them is very brutal. Once they arrest you, the person is almost gone. So they will just they will do it in the presence of everybody. They will come to a market square and people will gather around. There they will brutally machete the person, and the person will just die a very brutal death. That was their modus operandi. That was how they were doing this. And people were so happy because the rate of crime was just reducing and reducing and reducing. You could leave your thing, you could even leave your door open at night and sleep, and nobody will come into your house. People were so afraid of them. The robbers were dragged into the streets, dragged along the street, made to walk around naked. They will be executed. And then sometimes burnt alive, or sometimes burnt when they've executed them, with tires torn around their neck. That was how they were doing this as at that time. There were no trials, there were no investigations, there were no lawyers, there was nothing. As long as that their their machete shines red, it's done. It's a done deal. So that was how they were doing it as at that time. The rate of robbery reduced, the streets felt safer, robbers fled the cities, people could sleep again. So people could sleep again. Before that time, it was hard because almost every day armed robbery was a regular occurrence in that particular area. Armed robbery was almost every day. So almost the states around Abia State took notice. Then Anambra State Governor Chinwoke Mbadnuju invited them officially, and then gave them vehicles. He gave them an office. He made them legal in Anambra, and that was where they started, because making them legal, now they have power. Making them legal came with abuse. They have power, they can do everything that they want. They have vehicles that could convert them from one place to another. In fact, they had everything that you can think of. So they started fighting crimes in Anambra State, and that was where Eddie Okeke, Eddie Nanog, the prophet, the spiritual prophet in Anambra State, that was rumored to have been involved with kidnappings, ritual killings, and the lots. It was paraded on the streets of Anambra, then eventually killed at Ochanja Market. He was butchered at Ochanja Market. At the end of the day, he was forced to confess, but people were saying that Eddie Okeke was killed because of political gains or something like that. That he was being fought politically by the people that the powers above. So, but he was killed in Ochanja Market then. So all these things were happening. There is another person, Beriko Mama Okudili Nwigwe. Okudili was known, Beriko Mama was known as a very renowned highway criminal. In fact, Onitsha, the army of barons, they knew Deriko Mama. His name could trigger fear in small children. As at then, it was so bad, things. People could not go to market. You cannot travel from state to state without meeting robbers on the way. It was so bad as at that time. So the armed robbery, those people, they were highway armed robbers, and they attack banks. They go to different places to steal. Okudili Nwigwe, Chejina, they were all thieves, serious armed robbers in Anambra State as at that time. When Bakassi boys came to Anambra State, or the likes of Rico and the rest, they ran away from the states. But I think at first they were doubting whether it was real, whether what was rumored about the Bakassi boys was real or not. So I think Okudili Rico was left Anambra State late. That was how he was caught on his way, running away inside garage or something like that. That was where he was caught, and he was arrested there, and he was killed in Ochanja Market too, in front of the whole of Onitsha. People were singing chants, people were cheering on as Bakassi boys butchered him at down Ochanja roundabout. So immediately they were able to kill the Rico Mama. They were able to kill Eddie Nanog. Their fame went all over the place. People accepted them that yes, we were able to kill these people that were disturbing our state. We accept you, and that was how Bakassi boys continue killing thieves in Anambra State. And so they were both loved, they were revered, they were feared, and a lot of people didn't like what was happening, because it was as if the way they were doing this, they were inhuman. They were not catching these thieves and sending them to jail. They were just killing them in the streets. So it made a lot of people not to like what they were doing, and a lot of people loved them. They said, yes, kill those thieves, let our society be safe. But at the time, it started becoming rumored that they were also killing innocent people. And at the end of the day, they now started becoming politically, they were now being used politically. At first, when they came, they were actually killing the thieves, the famous thieves and all of that. Then they became so infamous that they are now being used by the politicians to kill their opponents, and that was where people started becoming against them. The same people that cheered them on started becoming against what they were doing, started complaining that they are killing innocent individuals. If they don't like you, they will kill you. If you don't like someone, you can go and tell them that you don't like this person, and if you pay a lot of money, they will help you kill the person. Those were the rumors then, and because of that, it became so bad, as then in 2002, the president of Nigeria, President Olusegun Obasanjo, made them illegal, that they should no longer be the ones that will help to safeguard Anambra State, that they are now illegal. So when they made them illegal, some of them were arrested, some ran away, some went back to the normal business that they were doing before the Bakassi thing came on. So they all dispersed and started doing their thing, and that was the end of Bakassi boys in the East. Life, the Bakassi boys faded away, but their legacy did not. So before the Bakassi boys came in, jungle justice has always been a thing in Nigeria, but when they came in, they amplified it so much in the East that even to this day, jungle justice is still happening in the East. It's still happening all over Nigeria, mostly because of the influence of the Bakassi boys, because all the things that they committed were jungle justice. They will kill people in front of everybody. People will gather around, up to 20,000. When they killed AD Nanog, they were up about 20,000 people gathered when they killed him. So 20,000 children, both school children, you could be coming back from school. You could be coming back from school and you will meet this thing happening in front, in where you're supposed to pass. And kids, we are seeing all of this. All those kids, they've grown now. And what do they think they should be done to a thief when caught? No, they should not. They don't think that the thief should be handed to the police. Most of them kill them. So that was what happened in Nigeria from 1998 to 2002. So that was what happened. So the Bakassi boys, though they helped to combat crime, though they helped to reduce the crime that was happening in the southeast as at that time, but the impact that they had was also very, very deadly. Their impact till now, people are still telling the stories. A lot of families that lost their loved ones, innocent people that were killed because they claimed that their machete turned red, are still many. So when a society no longer trusts their justice system, when a society no longer trusts their police and everything, this is what it leads to. Jungle justice, and was even sponsored by the Anambra State government as at that time, because they have fought crime. I would not say that Anambra State didn't fight crime before they had to invite Bakassi. They fought crime. They had Operation Sweep as at that time. They had O2 boys that were also fighting crime as at the time, but it wasn't working. They had to invite these Bakassi boys, and since then, crime reduced drastically in Anambra State. I don't know whether it has gone up again, but crime as at that time, it reduced very, very well, because of the fear of the Bakassi boys, because of the fear of jungle justice and the rest. Should this be the way crime should be fought? Should this be the way crime should be cleared in a community, in a society? No, I don't think this should be the way. I think when something like this happens, we should also still hope on the government to keep fighting the crimes, because even when we were still saying that they would bribe the police, they would do this and that, people were still in prison. A lot of people were still in prison at that time. So there is never a time that jungle justice should be the answer to fighting crimes, because with jungle justice, a lot of innocent people have lost their lives with jungle justice, because you are not a lawyer, you are not a soldier, you are not a police, you are not trained to handle this. So there is never a time you'll be able to investigate to ascertain that this person actually did this before you brand them a thief. And most times the length of time it takes from them to catch the thief and execute the thief, it doesn't pass 3 hours. While a due process of justice system, it takes months, sometimes years, before the justice is now eventually served, before the court case comes to an end and this person is now branded a thief it takes time. Sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes weeks. Some countries it takes weeks, some it takes months, some it takes years. But most jungle justice, it doesn't pass 3 hours from the time they caught the thief from the time they branded the person a thief, the thief and everything. It doesn't pass 3 hours. So jungle justice should not be the answer to anything. It should not be the answer. And I hope Nigeria stop this. They start combating this. They start combating this jungle justice, and also combat it in other places in Africa where I know that this jungle justice is still taking place. These things were happening then in the southeast of Nigeria, where I am from, where I grew up. So I knew I knew how hard it is. Then we were still small. It could be coming and they will say, yeah, Bakassi, all of us will run away. We'll run because you don't know what's going to happen. So that's how it was then. That's how bad it was then. And the thieves, when they were also stealing, pillaging different places, it was not easy too. So I don't know. Government needs to do better. They need to do better. The police need to be trained well to help combat crimes in different communities. Thank you very much for watching. And with that being said, have a wonderful, wonderful day and have a wonderful 2026. 2026 is going to be a great year for all of us. Thank you very much. And please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to subscribe. Have a wonderful day. Bye.